Hi, it's Vaughan, westcoastbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh, I still have my cat box there from Hamish, and it's been 2 weeks now since he disappeared. So Kaz sends me lots of photographs of him enjoying his new place. It's kind of nice to think of him, in a really cool, nice, clean house. With lots of toys and everything, but I miss him. So I've got 5 at the house, so it's just quiet all day at the studio without somebody rubbing against me while I'm working. But anyway, this is a little kiln I'm loading. I'm just going to highlight it because there's a lot of the same type pieces in it, but it's jars that I've never made before, and I wanted to try making them because I've seen them. And so it's just a jar with a flat lid. But let's see, I got lots of colors of it. So I made them without knobs because I've seen these done by people in the past, and I've always thought, well, that's really hard to pick up. So I tried to make sure that I have fairly small hands because I'm a short guy. But basically, the idea of them, I suppose, is that they just fit nicely on the pot. Not sure if that's the one for that one. Let's lift it up and see. And I didn't wipe the glaze, or maybe I'll be sorry about that. Oh no, it fits perfectly. And I fire on stilts. I'm always worried that they'll warp a little bit, but that's a pretty tight fit. And I can lift it off easily by doing that. So I guess they do work quite well. I chattered a little area on the top there and also on the bottom of these. This is speckled clay, and some clays might warp on stilts. You'd have to just experiment. But the speckled clay is a pretty nice clay for that. I've got another one here. Let's see if I get the right lid on that one. I'm going to have to get rid of the little sharp points from the stilts. And that one fits too. So I think they'd be used for sugar probably. I'm not trying to think what else. I suppose if you had herbs and spices, you could store some. If you buy bulk herbs, they'd be good for that too. And then there's a yellow one. The yellow is turning out really good these days. So somebody just asked me that recipe for the slip. Oh, this is a glaze. It was a slip they wanted a recipe for. And I told them to use a yellow stain, and you just have to pick the stain, because this is just a yellow glaze recipe, and it told you the stain number, which I didn't have, so I used my own yellow stain, and it works just great. So but that's apple green over my yellow there. That's a summery piece. And they've got a bunch of lids which we won't look at until I get the jars out. Okay, next layer down, I've got a dark blue one. Let's see if this is the one. The dark blue doesn't work as nice on the speckled clay as it does on the regular clay, but the dark blue is a good glaze to use if you want to show the chattering up. And the chattering tools that do this, of course, are from Bill Wright, which is artisanpotterytools.com. We have a rutile green one here. I haven't got... The lid should generally fit most of them, but they are so far anyway. That's rutile green with some variegated blue and oatmeal on the top area there. This might be the lid for the other one, I'm not sure. I have a black one. Yes, I have a black jar here. That one, well, it fits, but it might be the lid for the other one. I'll play musical lids maybe later on. The black with the oatmeal over the top, not as nice as I was hoping there, but it's matte and shiny. That might be quite attractive to some people. Then we have another black one, which I don't... Oh yeah, I do have the jar. Oops. Oh, this is a nicer one. See whether we have the right lid. Yep, we do. The lids are all fitting. I put blue and oatmeal over the black one here. See, this whole kiln is these jars, I think. Maybe a few other things in there. So we've got another rutile green. The rutile green has a yellowness to it when it's on thin, and it goes green when it's thick. So, and to show the chattering, I need it thin, so that's why it's like that. And it's got variegated blue and oatmeal on it too. Yeah, that one's got a little talking to me. And another yellow one. Oh, that green is, maybe the greens are nicer when it's thicker. Oh no, now it's really precarious. Got a green one. Oh, there's a green one there. Yep, apple green with chun green over the top. So that looks pretty good. I think I'll empty the rim before I proceed. Okay, we have a dark blue one here. The stilts seem to drop off nicely. And that one's the nicest one so far, I think. I like that one. The chattering shows on once again with that dark blue. And then I had an odd bowl left over, I remember, so I just glazed it. That's bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. And this is the bottom to a piece underneath, obviously. And here is another one of the deviled egg plates. That one's very nice. So I have 5 of these. The lady called me this morning who was supposed to come and pick these up today because we had an ice storm and the driveways and roads are just covered in an inch of ice. And we have another big storm tomorrow where they're saying there's going to be even more ice falling. So she couldn't even get out of her driveway. So she'll pick these up when the ice is all melted. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. We have high temperature next week will be 1 degree on one day and then -5 for most other days. It's really cold this winter and lots of snow and ice. Okay, so we have a bunch of blue ones. I must have oh yeah, I took one out already, so we've got 3 lids and 3. That one's a bit loose on that one, so I think it's a different lid. That's better. So there's one of the blue ones. Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah, blue is just such a pretty color. We're surrounded by blue all day, so we must have this lid here. It's really big, so this must be one of these two anyway. Fits that one for sure. Wow, I forgot I had those in this firing. And it looks like we got some really nice vases in here. So here's bright blue, dark blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal on the same piece with lots of chattering on these pieces. Ooh, wow. The apple green overlapping the turquoise. That is a really nice sea, kind of ocean piece. I'm expecting some blowouts in these because this was recycled clay. And that is bright blue, variegated blue, oatmeal, and variegated blue on that one. So a whole bunch of different greens and blues. I'm not going to stick this on the rim. One for the summer table. Apple green overlapping yellow. And then some blue on the inside. Really nice vase. And black, oatmeal, and bright blue, I think. And then I think I did variegated blue over the bottom again. So I must have wiped the glaze off the bottom a little bit, so because I hate putting 2 layers on the bottom of something. It encourages runs. Nice rim on that piece too. And we got apple green, matte turquoise, variegated blue, and oatmeal. Lots possibly chattering again. Ooh, another summer vase. Yellow, apple green, variegated blue, and oatmeal over the top. We need some color because it's been a really hard winter, so it's nice to get a lift from seeing bright colors. And I should make more of these, but this is a big beer glass, just a nice drinking glass. It's too narrow, I think, for a vase, although if you're careful you could use it as a vase, but I think of these as drinking glasses. They fit comfortably in your hand. Very tall T-bowl shape. And only 2 mugs in this firing. They were left over, I think, from another firing. But really pretty. That's variegated blue. No, sorry, that's rutile green with matte. No, let me see. Rutile green, variegated blue and oatmeal on top, and a little bit of oatmeal on the bottom. You can tell because of that. Okay, here's something I have never made before, and it was a special request from a customer, but it's turned out really good. It's for deviled eggs. And I'm hoping that the little shallow egg things are just the right size. It's hard to tell without making the base of the piece super thick. I had to make the bottom of this piece thicker than I normally do, so I could do this, but it turned out really nice. And I did this in bright blue with rutile green in the center. But like I said, I think it's because I thickened up. In these ones I gave an extra dip, and I think the thickness is really important with Randy's red. And that's because, oh, it looks brown still on the outside though. No, except for a little bit. And it was like that. So it's a bit close to the elements, which always goes brown. And then away from the elements, let's look at this one. This is the bit away from the elements, and it's sort of reddish. And it's a bit more brown on the outside. So that's the reason. But the inside always turns out very nice where it's shielded from the elements altogether. So somebody explain that. Here we go, rutile green again. The rutile green I don't do very often, but it has a nice kind of bluish green to it. It's a little sort of subtle, I guess you'd say there. I don't know what size she wants, so I made a few different sizes. That one holds less eggs. Of course, an egg is 2. 2 of these is just for 1 egg, so that's probably a dozen eggs maybe. Here's another bright blue one with oatmeal sponged over the top of the bright blue, and that's really pretty. You've got the orange that you get from the folk art white with a little bit of the opaqueness of the folk art white where it gets thicker, and then the apple green just sponged everywhere, and that really looks nice. Okay, I just have a couple of things to show you in here because there are some glaze combos that I don't do very often. And you've got that kind of folk dribbly thing kind of going on down there, which ash glazes do in wood kilns. But this is a fake, and it's not food safe, so you can't put it on the inside of things. But then I dipped, I think it was oatmeal, yes, oatmeal over the top area here, so it made it shinier and a bit more even. I kind of like it both ways, but anyway, I wanted to show you that. It's the same here. I've got, that's actually quite interesting. You end up with these little dribbles, they get darker, and I guess if you put it on really thick you might enhance those, but it's a glaze that does all sorts of flaking and breaking up on the surface when it's drying. So you have to glaze it fairly thin to make it stick to the piece, otherwise it flakes off. But anyway, the Tenmoku Gold over the top gave me a semi-matte, which is kind of nice. And I dipped it at the same time as I dipped the first layer. I dipped the second straight away. Most of the time I wait when I'm doing that. This one is variegated blue with speckled blue, which is so the whole thing variegated blue, and then I dipped the speckled blue over the top, and it gave me a really nice effect. So I will do this again. It's actually quite nice. And then the variegated blue is the normal, but I'll remember that one because that came out good. This one is Tenmoku Gold with my yellow glaze dipped over the top, and it gave me, this is the speckles from the Tenmoku Gold, and it gave me a much finer kind of speckle kind of look. I'm not sure about that. I might have to look several times. It's a little bit less interesting than the surface on its own of Tenmoku Gold, but I think it's nice. It's got some elements of gold there. Here's another one. I bet this is apple. Yep, this is fake ash with apple. So all of the ones where I think I may have said folk art, it's fake ash. I'm getting it mixed up completely. So fake ash with apple green over the top. And the apple green is coming out just a touch different from what it normally does. But you've got some of the fake ash kind of look up there as well, which is good. And also it's breaking at the top there, so that's good. So I like that one too. This is my cranberry with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top, which I think I showed you in a different firing. But the cranberry I haven't used for years. I just didn't like it, but now I'm beginning to like it again. SB, satin blue and variegated blue over the top. So this is the satin blue, and this is with variegated blue dipped over the top of it. And both are okay. Oh, gosh, a little bit of crawling there. I wonder if that was just grease on my hands. This time of the year I do put, hand cream on my hands because they get drier. This one is one that I'm about ready to give up on this glaze, but I have a whole bucket of it. It never fluxes real well, so I'm going to try adding some extra flux to this glaze. And it also flakes, and it's got stain C1118 in, which I don't think you can even buy anymore, but I have a lot of it. It's what I use in my yellow slips. But it didn't give me a good yellow, it gave me a sort of oatmeal, but it's a pain in the neck glaze. So I'm going to try splitting it in half and then adding stuff to each half and see what we get. So Tenmoku Gold with yellow over the top all the way down. No, that's wrong. This is licorice. I wrote the wrong thing on there. Licorice with yellow over the top. Just about there. And it's almost no difference. I would say it's nicer on its own, but it didn't do much at all. But you can just see a little bit of yellow on the inside poking through there. And let's see, this is just a berry ball of variegated blue with blue, and bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. The way it looks. And I'm always disappointed that it doesn't do a darker and more, but that one's pretty good with this. Yeah, so that one's not bad. This is, fake wood ash glaze, basically, fake ash. And then the little trays that go with it. And that one's the same, but with apple green dipped over the top. But the fake ash is doing its nice thing on the bottom there. I also, in my firing cycle, I did not soak at 1750, which I often do. I did a slow cool cycle, but without the soak. But that's kind of nice. It definitely has a wood ash look to it. And the rest I think you've seen before. Yeah, there's another one of the bright blue. I will show you the one underneath because it turned out nice. This is my matte turquoise with variegated blue and oatmeal sponged on the rim. Little squares of sponge just sponged on the rim. And the last piece down there is the same again Matte turquoise with variegated blue, and oatmeal sponged over the rim and on here too. Okay, it's Saturday morning, the 1st of March. So we had lots of rain and warmer weather for the last few days, so snow's melting outside and I get to unload a kiln unloading. So I've got some of these experimental trays here that I posted a couple of videos on recently of making them, so they're just coming out of the kiln now. So that's why my videos often don't have finished pieces in, because it takes another 2 weeks after I make something before I get it out of the kiln. So these are all glaze experiments too, so I guess this could be the landscape in winter, since we've had such a lot of snow this year. It's been a bad winter. But the handles have stood up fine. They haven't sagged down, as you can see. I don't glaze the very bottom of trays. If I fire them on stilts, they sometimes warp a little bit. But you can see that the stamping, with a little bit of careful glazing, you end up with a reasonable textural area that you can actually then glaze a little, where the glaze will flow into the actual lines. And even though it's just the turquoise, you get that rippling effect with the ocean, which is what I was hoping for. And, which is interesting, the oatmeal that I did over here really did look like the whale is splashing out of the actual water. So that's good. I like that. And then there's a more simple one here. Less, but it still shows up pretty good. But this one was glazed much faster. This is an older piece. A garlic keeper has been sitting around. I hadn't got it in a kiln. So a little garlic keeper there. Variegated blue. This is my number 16 glaze, which is very similar to a variegated blue. But I don't use it very often. It's basically my blue glaze with a tiny bit of iron oxide mixed into the blue. So cobalt and iron, as well as that gives you that. And it still has a blue hint, but it's got sort of various kind of shades of bluey green in there as well. Now we have some pieces I don't have the bottoms out yet. Oh, that lifted up the actual stilt as well. Chun green with apple green, and a touch of oatmeal over it too. No, it didn't. I'm gonna have to try and whittle that one later on. Oh, got to show you. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. I think it was bright blue down here anyway. Could have been my other speckled blue. This is bright blue. Wow, the things are taking some getting out here. Probably because they're quite heavy, and they're still almost collapsed as well on that one. These might be a bit heavy for those little blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. And chun green again. I'm going to have to just grind off the little stilt marks there. Chun green, apple green, and oatmeal. Give you a close-up of that glaze. I forget to hold it still because it blurs with the video. I've got some big mugs. Licorice, variegated blue, and oatmeal. That is terrific. Really nice. I don't use licorice very often. It's a glaze that can sometimes read second and third application of other glazes over the top, but it didn't this time. I think it powders very easily when you're handling it, so you have to be careful not to touch the glazed area. This is number 16 again. I think I remember doing all these in glazes that I don't use very often. Oh, here's one I rarely use. Like a powder green, what do you call it? Pastel green that I have, and I rarely use it. What do you think? I have a bucket of this, and I don't use it very often, but it's an oatmeal that I added a little bit of copper carbonate to give you that green. It's fairly nice. It's called a baby green, I guess you would say. And there's another one, and that one had the apple green and oatmeal. This has the variegated blue over the top and oatmeal. So it's a whole new look, you know, because this is a base, I've got all my other glazes I could put over the top. And this is just apple green with chun green over the top. Okay, so now we've got the bases for a few of them, so we can go through, see what these look like. If I have the right base for each one, cheese dish or a butter dish, you can use it for either. The blue base, another cheese dish. I think these had a bit of chattering on them, but it's kind of glaze. There's 3 layers here. You see it, it's covered up the chattering. That means I've got the lids mixed up. That one goes on there. And this one goes on here. And they're all very similar size, but sometimes one will shrink or warp a little bit. In this case, it was okay. What did I have here? I think I had apple green, chun green, and oatmeal on this one. And the oatmeal did its lizard scale thing, which if I show you a close-up, it has that kind of scaly look effect that it does when the oatmeal gets thick. Okay, we have another chun green, and you can see how I dipped that one where you get the lines. I'm not sure I mind when I dip like that. It gives it, where I overlap a little bit, you get a darker area. It just gives the piece a little character. But when you use transparent glazes, that's what you end up getting. Here's the baby green again. It's very pale. And with the apple green over the top, I think it's pretty nice. But there's some reason it's mint. I kind of think it's a mint green, and that's a cold green. That's why I've never used it very much. And here's the base to the other cheese dish. The speckles on that are just amazing. Black with lizard scale oatmeal. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I called it in my notes in my book lizard scales. Licorice with lizard scales.